What's that? Welcome to the world, GenWorld. Today, theoretically, this is probably going to come out to be another Super GenWorld podcast episode, but that's cool. Resident Evil Village, man. Resident Evil Village. We finished it up on stream last night. Well, this morning. You're going to see the gameplay in the background. This right here, I always vibe with Resident Evil because I feel like for Capcom, it's always a test for them to try out new systems, to create new engines, to come up with new puzzle types. Like, it's more of just like a refresher, I feel, for Capcom. It's their testing ground for new tech, in a sense. This is no exception. No exception. I'm gonna go light on the spoilers at the beginning. Then we'll just gradually get more into the territory because I want to break this down fully. What I experienced, because I put about 20 hours into the game. I was going back and forth between different modes and trying things. I got a 9 and almost 10 hour completion time on standard. I'm running through on the Village of Shadows difficulty now. I may do that off stream or on stream, but that's neither here nor there. The amount of time you spend with this game, no matter how long you spend with this game, if you just play through it once and decide not to play it no more, or if you decide to stay for the mercenaries mode and running through on harder difficulties trying to unlock everything, whatever you choose, no matter how you want to play, you getting your money out of this. When it comes to the visual detail, the performance, the gunplay, how the enemies respond to being hit in different locations of their bodies, the parry system that you have, because you can actually block them getting up close. It adds an element of like a hack and slash a little bit. Like, it's kind of interesting because they can get up on you and they can attack, and if you hit your block right at the right time, you can push the enemies off you. The mechanics of this game have shined as a whole nother level of upgrades and a more enjoyable experience over 7 to me. Playing Remake 2 and 3, both of those I feel have got the third person movement system down. Like, they got a very great working system there. The one thing I would add to all of it is a jumping mechanic, or just a little bit more mobility. I would like to explore these rooftops, being able to just jump up. We don't need a double jump, just a simple jump, a simple hop, something that just lets you grab up on ledges and get up there just a little bit more. The way that they have it set up is basically, since every area is designed so meticulously, there is no need for a jump. Even like there's this wide field of wheat, and sometimes zombies will be hiding in the grass with the scarecrows, and there'll be fences, and you can just hold. If you're using a controller, you just hold up, and then you'll move over, you'll mount over it. So it's just like an automatic action, kind of like how Ocarina of Time, you have no jump, but you can just hold up to jump up on things. It's the same way. There are a lot of parallels with Ocarina of Time with this game as well. From having a semi-open world to it all being connected, and I would treat their quote-unquote residents in this as dungeons. This game has a very like dungeon design. Explore the world, get your power-ups. I see that door is locked. There's no keys in here. I gotta come back later. And then when you find that power-up, it's normally going to be in a house, in a resident where you're stuck in, which is kind of like a dungeon in this sense. And then you can come back to the hub world, which is the actual village itself, and there's secrets. There's more enemies. There's places to unlock. So you got to use the powers you find in the houses, the residents, the dungeons. Once you get those, you come back to the main world and you just start unlocking shit. You start completing puzzles. You start clearing things out. You go and talk to the merchant, who's a fat man this time. And I don't know why I'm on a love-hate relationship with him, because I love him because he ain't do nothing to me in the whole game. Like, he ain't put his hands on me. He ain't try to turn on me or nothing. He talked his shit a few times. Yes, that was a jump scare. Shit like that I love. Like that, like you in the house knowing damn well he wasn't out there, but as soon as you figure out the puzzle, bow, they on your ass. But I'll save that for later. There's so much packed in a small space, man. They packed in so much to where it's like when you're actually in the game and running through it, you get a sense of why am I here? Like for the character of Ethan, you like, why is this man here? They give you answers upon answers. Yes, it's still Capcom writing, so some of it is kind of like, I say cringy, like the delivery of some of the lines is mad Capcom. Like it ain't no, like the world takes itself seriously, but you can still sense like there is some silly shit going on here. And they explained it by the end. Like there's a reason why this man can go through these things. But I'm not gonna get to that yet. That's gonna be for later. But yeah, like they break down a lot of gameplay tropes into the story, and it's kind of fucking funny. The way that they do that and weave those themes together is extremely funny. But one thing I do want to talk about before I go more into the story and the execution of it, these graphics, man. These graphics are not normal. Let me see if I can get to a spot that's just like, WTF, this is truly beautiful. I think, was it past here? I think we were heading up towards the dollhouse area. You know what? I'll actually get that out the way now before I speak on the graphics. Let me get this out the way. None of the trailers, none of the memes, none of the promotional shit actually shows the true scope of the villainry of this game, which I think was genius. The fact that we put that big titty woman front and center and let everybody see her completely blindsides the true nature of how grotesque these villains can get. And speaking for the last few bosses, badass. These dudes, the shit gets crazy with the villainry. And it just levels up. You make your character as strong as you need him to be for the situation, like, and it all ties together thematically. There's so much hidden shit in the world, and that just goes right back to the design. So now that I got that, let's talk about these graphics real quick. So you got ray tracing on and off. I got a GTX 2070 Super, 2070 Super, i7, 8770, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. I was able to off stream. If we lock in frame rates, everything maxed out, I got ray tracing turned off, I'm locked 120 frames. Locked at 120 frames. Smooth. 1080p, locked at 100 frames. I could probably go up to 2K and still be locked around 100. I probably won't fall below 100. I should be smooth on that. But when ray tracing turns on, this is where things get impressive. I stay around 90, 85 to 90 frames with ray tracing turned on, maxed out on 1080p. So we're able to get those new rendering techniques on something like a GTX 2070 Super, which is a high-class card, but it's still one of those, it was the early ray tracing card. This is the first RTX line. So the simple fact that this game's optimization got that running on this system with ray tracing turned on while I'm streaming and still kept a playable fidelity, this game is one of the most well-optimized games that I may have played in recent memory. Outside of anything else with the RE engine, I have to make a declaration right now. Capcom's RE engine is the greatest engine ever made, visually. I don't care who else can use it. I don't care who can utilize it. I don't care what your skill set is with the tool set. The way that they use it for their games, boy, they better put this shit on Street Fighter. They need to use this for every mainline game. I want to see this engine with Mega Man. I want to see this engine with fucking Dragon's Dogma. My bad. I looked down and read the word RE engine and fucked me up. RE engine is the greatest engine ever created. Period. You are not going to get no kind of performance from your machine the way that this game has shown that is possible. I don't know what techniques. I'm doing research tonight. I must figure out what is the technology behind this engine, because the amount of detail in some of these textures, and it's hard to see. We're looking at a replay here off of my stream, so you're getting triple encoding. We're streaming all of that shit. It's not going to be as beautiful as it would be in your house on your screens right now. The way that looks on your screen running, you're not streaming, you're running nothing but the game, and you're just looking at the world. When you first step out and you see the vista of the entire village, even though that the color scale is blacks to grays in a sense, with a little bit of brownstone in there, it makes sense because of where the fuck you at. You're in a whole different area. You're out of your element. The different shades of colors actually tie into the distance of the objects from Ethan's point of view. So the things that are further back are lighter gray, while the shit that is actually closer up will be kind of in a darker. You can actually see points of interest from all angles. And like you look up here, even though you're in this house, you see the house behind it. You still see other shit in the back. Even we're in mid-combat. This is just behind another house. You still see other shit. You still see other shit. There's so much fidelity. There's so much attention to detail, respect shown to this area. Like there's so much respect shown here, and that translates well into the dungeon designs, into the actual designs of all of the houses, the way that they're designed, the puzzle structure, how everything plays out. It all works. Like it all works. It functions on a high level. Like the simple fact that I was sitting there just running through it, the systems are just, they just work. When you pick up a new gun, it already has a little bit of ammo in it, but you can't build ammo for that gun, at least you don't think. Like you got the you pick up a grenade launcher later in the game. When you get the grenade launcher, you be like, fuck, I can't make any rounds for this, but I want to use it. So what you do, you just use it, boop, doop, shoot everything, and then you get back to the fat man. He got a recipe to show you how to cook. So you can cook up ammo for your grenade launcher now. And whenever you get a new weapon, certain things change in the shops. So it's all about how you continuously do your secrets, explore everything in the world, try to get, try to hunt. You gotta hunt animals, fish, the boars, the pigs, you got beasts, chicken, poultry. You gotta hunt all of those things, and when you bring them back to the fat man, he is able to upgrade you. So you can have it to where when you block, you just barely take no damage. You can increase your movement speed. I had 5 fish and one, they wanted a fresh fish and 5 regular fish. No, they wanted 6 regular fish. I had 5 fish and one of the special fish. So I just need 1 regular fish. But the way that the world is set up, you got to find them, because this ain't a world where animals can thrive. You got to find them. So I got some hunting to do on that, because you can increase your movement speed, increase your health with it, and it's all meat based. It's crazy. My takeaway from that is, like, here, this is the perfect viewpoint. This is exactly what I was talking about with the jumping. My one thing I would like is actually just to be able to just jump over the things. They explained that some of these motherfuckers are not even like I don't want to spoil that. Like, niggas should be able to jump. They should be able to jump. And I say that to say this. If a jump is the only bad thing I have to say about your game, you don't have a bad game, nigga. This, to me, and I'm going to mark this right here as part 1, is a 9.5 out of 10. The way that these secrets are revealed, the way that you got to go out and find the secrets, the way he holding the shotgun right now, because you know it's busted time. The way the guns sound, the sound design behind this shit, sublime. Sublime. This shit is, it sounds good, it feels good, it looks good. I know for a fact don't none of this shit smell good, but at the end of the day, they hit you with a whoop-de-wop. This game is heavy. And then when you complete the story mode, I'm gonna cut this out the back, I'm sorry. When you got story mode completed on standard, you're able to unlock mercenaries. When you unlock mercenaries, that's a whole nother game within this game. So the story is about 9 hours, and then you have an endless wave shooter with these mechanics. That's a match made in heaven to me. Now, I didn't touch the mercenaries yet. I got to touch it, but that is possibly where I'm thinking I'm probably going to be spending most of my time after I'm done getting shit completed in the main game. Like, once I get everything leveled up, I'm diving headfirst into the mercenaries because I want more of that combat. I like that combat. This is one of the games where I'm just very happy. Them headshots are satisfying as fuck. Some of the most just chef's kiss. This is good combat. I like this combat. When you move, you move. That's the end of part 1. 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 for this game. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. It's just 9.5 out of 10. All I want is a jump. All I want is a jump. That's it. If I can get a jump in here, I don't even want to mod it in. I want them to bring that officially. If they can give me a jump, this bitch will be a 10 out of 10. Through Resident Evil 7, or at least know the story of Resident Evil 7, you know about Jack Baker and the family. You know about the house. Basically, what this game is saying is that you don't know everything about the house. You think you know about the house, but you don't know about the house. The house know about you though, but you don't know about the house. Okay? You know everybody get their own area too, the way that that's set up, and they expand upon that by just basically giving it the whole village world. Like, you got a full-blown hub world in this shit. But you got Mia, who was kidnapped in the first one. Mia gets rescued by you, Ethan. But I always said for a lot of years, said Resident Evil 7 just didn't feel right. Like, something about that shit felt off. Something felt off about it. Well, now we know what was wrong with it. And I won't say it yet. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it here in a bit. You see this insignia right here? Short story long. This is the origin of the entirety of the Umbrella organization. The entire thought to do everything that has happened came from Hua. It came from this village. I have a cat on my desk, y'all. This just knocked down my butt. Shit, you see that? Hello. This is what we got going on over here. But yeah, man. So from them, you must think, what is this game trying to tell you? If you know anything about Resident Evil, what is this game trying to tell you? Like, if I'm a fan, what are you trying to tell me? If I'm a fan of this shit and I'm the creator, I'm like, what would I be trying to tell you if I created this shit? That love itself is truly more powerful than death? I don't know, honestly. Like, there's some questions here that it transcends like a normal way of looking at things. Like, you got to shift your perspective to think, if you're in this position, they still don't show Ethan's face. They do not show Ethan's face. So if we're not going to see this man's face, that instantly means they want us to put ourselves in his shoes. So you got to shift your own way of thinking to kind of match his in that situation. No normal man would survive this. The amount of damage that is done to a human body in the way that this is portrayed, you're not walking away from none of this. But now it makes sense for Ethan to. That's a wild thing to think about. You gotta believe like you're actually in. Oh yeah, it's Andromeda. But yeah, you gotta sit down and actually think about this for a second. They want you to feel like you're in Ethan's shoes. So going through this story and figuring out what happens in 7 and the amount of power that you gotta overcome, the amount of evil that this man is overcoming for his daughter, transcends that theme. Fuck the delivery of some lines, because I know some folks think some things can be corny. Some things can be corny. But the overall situation that you're in and the way that it's unfolding, the way that you're seeing, like you're actually playing as this man, like it's different than watching a movie and seeing it happening to someone. When you're in game and you're playing it, you feel like it's happening to you, especially when they intentionally make it that way. When you get immersed into the medium and they intentionally make it to where you don't see his face, You never see his face. The camera angles are always just right out of the shot when you see his body. Like, it's that part is like, why are they doing that? What is the point of that? But then on top of that, this part right here behind me, give up your memories. This is one part right here that made me go like, Jesus Christ. Like, you're already just figuring out how you got to get your daughter back, which if you see that head flask right there on this menu, you'll know that that takes an extremely dark turn. Even though it is still dark, they kind of pull back from it to make it just like still Resident Evil dark, to where it's not like but it's still like, it's like you got me collecting what, my nigga? Like it goes dark, but it's like the way they're playing with Ethan's psyche, and just seeing, you're, like I said, you're the player, so your perspective fighting back through everything thrown at him is cool as fuck. It's so cool to see this dude literally physically fighting PTSD. We've had a lot of characters, a lot of heroes, and a lot of games do a lot of shit. But outside of Cloud Strife, who do you know that can physically fight PTSD? Like, if you got a PTSD in the corner of your room, like snickering at you and then doing the Birdman rub, and you try to pull up on him, he gonna disappear. No, like, these niggas fight their demons. They actually fight their sleep paralysis demons. These boys are dope. Perseverance ain't shit if you are not if your dreams can't transcend these characters' ability to get shit done, you are doing it wrong. The way that these dudes overcome unsurmountable odds is inspiring. They said, fuck you to physics. As a hero, Ethan is hard because he's supposed to be you. And at the beginning of it all, he's confused and he acts like a bitch. Because you got to think, if you're in a situation, you be like, yo, why are you doing that? Why are you so big in my house right now? Why are we doing this? And you ask yourself that question, and Ethan asks himself that question multiple times throughout the story. Why is this happening? Why ain't nobody telling me shit? That is there. That's in the writing. That was written. That's a part of the script. So if you already asking why as a character, then the character himself is asking why. The last thing to do is try to solve the mystery. And that's what this game brings. It's that mystery unraveled throughout the whole game, because every room and every dungeon, and in the dungeon within the world, the entire thing is just unraveling story after mission after story. It just keeps going and keeps breaking down. Like, it just doesn't stop until the end. Like, it just doesn't stop. Every room you walk in, there's little sheets of paper or audio recordings with the actual story that's going on, written by characters you may have either just killed or talked to at some capacity. You get to see like their diaries and what they're writing and what they're doing while Ethan is doing what he's doing. So it's like you actually get to see what Chris is talking about at the beginning as they unravel the entire mystery of why he even ran down on a house like that in the first place. And then coming to the realization that that nigga Chris should have told Ethan about his plan from the beginning, and then seeing Chris deal with that, you actually see him deal with that. Like, that shit is crazy. I'm so happy that we got to see that big-titted woman over everything. I'm so happy she was the face of all of this shit because they were able to hide so much nuance. Like literally everything that they showed in the trailer is like the first 2 hours of the game. If that. If. And that's a big if. That's a huge if that. Like it might be even shorter than that. I don't even know. Maybe a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. I'll max out and say max 3 hours you spend with them. They ain't shit. But exactly what I said happens. You get to pop a cap in that ass. And that's exactly what I wanted to do, was make sure that that bitch gets dusted. I was about to laugh. Make sure that bitch get dusted. You hear me? Put her in the dirt and all 3 of her daughters. That whole building was musty. That shit smelled like an abandoned and burned down wig store in the slums of Shaolin. Yes, I'm talking like wigs, Yaki Pack, all that shit. It smelled like that. Bayonetta would rent that out. Bayonetta would rent that out. That These villains are turned up. One of them is very nasty. You got the water boss. That was one of the most nastiest things I've ever experienced in my life. And the dollhouse is no better. Like each area is so disgusting in its own right. And like this right here behind me, it don't look like nothing. And that's done on purpose because what comes in about like 15, 20 minutes after all of this, I'm just going to look you up here, baby. Come on. There you go. Yeah, whenever you actually get the room, this puzzle in the dollhouse figured out, and that starts coming to a head, there were a lot of nopes in my life. There were a lot of nopes. I had a lot of nopes. This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here. The dollhouse is my second favorite place in the whole game. The first one is right before the final level, right before the final showdown. That whole part where there's a sequence with Chris, and I'm not going to go deep because I really, really, really want folks to experience that raw. Chris, I have never seen characters be reinvented to the point to where they damn near shit on themselves. But with this part right here is cool is because Chris can't shit on himself because he ages. So he getting better with time. And we're seeing it. They even letting us control some of it. This game is hard. I'm not going to say too much more. I really don't want to spoil too much. I wanted to go super deep and spoil a bunch of shit. I was able to talk about what I wanted to talk about without spoiling too much. I want to jump. I love the world design, graphics, sound, and mechanics. I love how the weapons control. It's one of my favorite shotguns in any game ever. Very satisfying headshots. I love the puzzle designs. I love the dungeon designs. I like all of the enemies. I love the enemies. Even the big titty golf woman, like she is hard. Now I know her name is Alcina Demetrius. I know that's her name. But I'm still going to call her the big titty golf woman because that's how we play around here. She's the big titty golf woman. She's a thick ass golf woman. All her daughters smelled like beach water. And not the good beach water. It's like the beach water with like piss and jellyfish in it. Like they don't look appetizing to me. So I killed them. Man, listen to me. Resident Evil 8 is a phenomenal time. I'm going to be going back in that mercenary mode. 9.5 out of 10. That's my final offer. I like this game a lot. This game is lit. Go ahead and get it. It's the seal of approval. Go ahead and get it. Don't listen to nobody but you, yourself, Fred Flintstone, and God. That's it. No one else. I'm trying to tell you, don't do it. Don't you do it. And I'm putting this in the back so I can help y'all with the dollhouse. I'm giving you secrets. Look at what's going on in the background. I'm hooking you up. I'm hooking you up right now. 9.5 out of 10, Resident Evil Village. Go get it. Go get that.